Hey guys, I'm Carly from All the Pretty Books. I thought today we would talk about 3 little books that I found while at a used bookstore here in Salt Lake City. But before we do that, I wanted to introduce myself for those who are new to the channel. Hello, I've been collecting Harry Potter books since around 2009. I collect rare, signed, and translations, although I am currently downsizing the translation collection to get back into the rare and signed thing, because that's really what at this time I think is really pulling more at my attention than the translations, although I love language and phonology and cover art, and so I'm being really choosy about the translations that I'm selling off. But you can check my eBay as well as my website for things that I am selling, although my eBay has more things that I am selling currently. Actually, a lot more things that I am selling currently than my website does. Anyway, if you are coming back to the channel, you guys are great. Hello and welcome back. I enjoy your support and I enjoy chatting on our comments. Like I was saying, I thought it'd be really neat or really fun and also answer some questions about these 3 little books that I found at a used bookstore here in Salt Lake City. I love going to used bookstores and looking to see not only at what Harry Potter books they have, but just what used bookstores have in general. I'm always interested in them. I like to look at signed things, I like to look at their rare things, and I like to see just what's in their general used section. I've found some great reads over the years. I found these 3 books right here: Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban, which looks a lot like the Prisoner of Azkaban we know and love. If you're from the States, the other 2 look a bit different. So first of all, what are they? They are all the same size, so they probably were produced in like part of the same edition, and they were. And why do they look different? Especially books 2 and 1. Book 3 looks slightly different as well, but the differences are a little bit more subtle, especially on camera. You have to really, it looks more different in person. Although I'll try to get good pictures up on the website and a good video up on the website, and I'll try to show it well here in the video as well. But the 3 little books are what are called mass market paperbacks, which are made more cheaply than the traditional softcover edition. So to give you an idea, this is the traditional softcover edition of books 1, 2, and 3 in the US. Here's book 1, of course, and book 2 and book 3. And to really give you a size comparison, there's about a little under an inch of difference between the 2 books, and of course the shorter book is wider and the cover art is different. So what are mass market paperbacks? Essentially what they are is they are cheaper made books that are made for wider distribution than typically the softcover first editions. Like for the Harry Potter books, the softcover first edition is this one. Not the first edition, that's a hardcover book, but the softcover first edition, or a nicer first edition of the book. So think about the softcover books that you see sold in grocery stores, or used to see sold in grocery stores. They were smaller, fatter, sometimes had small cover art or no cover art and just had a title of the book on it. Those usually are going to be mass market paperbacks. They don't have good paper quality. They read, or when they're read, they fall apart pretty easily. Things like that. So not good quality, but they're also cheaper. So they appeal to different audiences. So that is essentially, or not essentially, that is what these 3 books are mass market. These sold for $6.99 as opposed to the probably higher price of the softcover and of course hardcover books. And they were probably sold in grocery stores, airports, train station, bus stations, places like that where people are traveling. And they're fun. And the cover art, like I mentioned, especially books 1 and 2, is different. What is also fun is that it is still Mary Grand Pré, which is the illustrator of the US editions. And she didn't just illustrate brand new pieces for books 1 and 2 though. What they did, and it's kind of clever, what Scholastic did is they took some of their APs from the chapter art. In this case, for book 1, they took the chapter art from chapter 13. You can't really see it very well, but this is chapter 13. In the book itself, it's very, very dark and it's hard to see the detail. So for the book image, they lightened it up to show a lot more of the detail. And they made it the book cover image. And they did similarly for book 2. For the cover art on the mass market edition of book 2, they didn't use necessarily chapter art like they did with book 1, but they did use the art from the title page. So, and again, they lightened it a little bit to be the cover of the book here. By the time they got to book 3, they just used the Grand Prix cover art for book 3, but they added some glittery stars and they took the Harry Potter font up here, and instead of just like book 3, we have the green foiling, they made it like glittery gold to match the stars, and they embossed the stars. And what's actually funny is I remember when Peter actually is the one who made me aware of this book. And I was aware of this book really before of the other 2. I had seen them on eBay, but I hadn't bought them. And I really hadn't paid much attention to them if I'd seen them in the wild. And it was Peter who called or messaged or sent a text and picture, whatever, like back in 2015, maybe 16. And he was like, oh my goodness, it's a shiny Prisoner of Azkaban. And we just called it the Pretty Azkaban. It took us probably way too long for us to figure out what it was, which was, of course, the mass market edition of Prisoner of Azkaban. And it even says on the title page, first mass market paperback printing, May 2004. So this book tells you exactly what it is. We just didn't bother to read. We just thought it was so pretty. And it's really pretty. I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, as to why they got away from covers like this, because I actually really do like how different these are, is that they wanted, if they were going to continue the mass market books, because there were still 4 others that hadn't been made in the series yet, and of course by 2004, which is when this book was made, the series hadn't even been finished yet. But my guess is, the movies were coming out, new books were being released still, we hadn't finished the series, there was a lot of merch, Pottermania was a thing, Potter, book release parties, all of that stuff. My guess is that they wanted the mass market books, if they were to continue, to be associated with the series. And these 2, while they say Harry Potter on the cover, they say, the author's name, they don't really look like Harry Potter books art-wise. This one does. So if you were just to take quick a look at the grocery store, bus station, airport, you would know that this was a Harry Potter book if you're familiar at all with the US Harry Potter art, whereas these 2 could be easily overlooked. And on the back side, it just, I like the art. It just doesn't, they don't scream Harry Potter unless you read. And some people are just glancing. They're not actually really reading, especially if they're in a hurry or just quick scanning for a book that they want to read. They're looking at the cover art, not necessarily reading the titles of the books. So my guess is that's probably why they changed the cover art to the Grand Prix cover art, but still wanted it to be, other than in size, because it is still the size of the mass market, of course, they wanted it to be slightly different. So they added like the embossed stars and the embossed gold, weird, glittery Harry Potter font up here. It is pretty. It's just different, especially because up here, it's kind of a bronze Harry Potter font. It's also embossed. Like, the books are actually nice. And they came several years after the trade paperbacks, if I remember properly. Let's see. Book 1 came in November 2001. And book 2 Came in November 2002. And the soft cover edition of book 1 came in 99. Yeah, September 99. So anyway, that's what these fun little books are. Our mass market paperbacks of books 1, 2, and 3. Are these rare? You know, I love to go to rare bookstores. It's one of my favorite things to do. And when I'm out and about in Salt Lake, I go to quite a few rare bookstores. When I lived in Dallas, I would do the same. Same with San Antonio. And really, every city that I'm in, if there's a rare or used bookstore, I'm going to go. If there's a rare bookstore, I'll try to check that out too. So with that said, I am more apt to see the soft cover edition of Harry Potter or the first edition hardcover Harry Potter than I am to see these guys here. Are they valuable? No. I think I paid less than $10 for all 3 books. 2 and 3 are first print. Book 1 is 8th print. And I don't care enough to get a first print of the first book. I just wanted an example because I like the different cover art, especially of books 1 and 2. I think it's fun, but there's just not much of a demand in the collector world for those books, at least not right now. That may shift because there are, they're around, but they're not super duper common. But again, there's not much of a demand for them. So I don't see them being a book that would ever buy you a house or even pay your phone bill kind of thing. Just a fun $5 pickup, really, but fun to have and fun to find. And I think that just about does it for this video. I've got to make peach cobblers for work tomorrow. If you have other questions about collecting Harry Potter books, don't hesitate to reach out. If you have questions about collecting signed Harry Potter books, I'm going to put Adam's information down below. Adam is the Harry Potter specialist, and he is an amazing asset to the Harry Potter collecting community. He is a great authentication source for J.K. Rowling's signature, and he is incredible with what he does. And I refer anyone who has collecting questions about signed books over to Adam. If you want more Harry Potter content, I co-host a podcast with Melanie, Eric, and sometimes Peter called Dialogue Alley, and we have so much fun. We collect translations, Harry Potter translations, albeit quite differently, and I know my collection criteria is shifting quite a bit, and I think others may be starting to shift as well, so that's kind of fun. And I'll put our links for that podcast down below too. And I'll put links for my website too. And pretty much, yeah, that's it. With that, I'm going to say y'all are great. Thanks for watching. And as always, stay magical and happy collecting, and good night.